In anticipation of our sale of the collection of Leicester Weindling, Daria and I thought it would be fun to recreate two of the still lives featured in the auction.
It's an amazing opportunity because we have two exceptionally early works by the master still life painter Pieter Claesz. Both were painted around 1622, and even though they're very different in feel, one is a still life of fruits and one is a still life of a tobacco scene. So we thought we would each take one
and challenge each other to see if we can really do this.
Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
Why don't we begin by recreating the fruit still life? So I think we'll start with this pewter plate. I chose two apples, but probably they're actually quinces in the original painting. And then we have a lovely assortment of grapes, both green grapes and red grapes. And unlike the apples or the quinces that would have grown locally in the Netherlands, the grapes probably were imported from southern Italy, so they would have been a little bit more of a delicacy. They certainly would have been more expensive, and I love how they just sort of shimmer in the painting. I'm not sure these are quite catching the light as nicely, but I think they're a good approximation. Here we have a beautiful bowl of red cherries. The actual bowl itself, the piece of porcelain, would have been imported from China. It would have been produced in Qing for a Western audience, and it would have been a very expensive object at the time. And I love the way that you see this play between the really cool tones, the blue and the white, and then that rich red of the cherries that you see here.
Today, you could source all these fruits fairly easily.
And we did.
But at the time, it would have been nearly impossible.
That's exactly right. We think about this with floral still lives, but it's the same thing here in that all of the fruit that Claesz includes, it would have ripened at different times of the year. So it's an imagined image of bounty that never could have existed in real life. So here we have another white and blue porcelain bowl with an assortment of strawberries, both red and white, which I think he does very, very beautifully.
Now these are larger strawberries that we have today, but are those more of a fraise de bois wild strawberry?
That's exactly right, yes. They're wild strawberries that would have ripened just at the turn of spring. And even though they, I think, grew everywhere, they were understood as sort of really special little once-a-year delicacies.
They sort of still are today. Pieter Claesz becomes a much more monotone painter, and what he can accomplish using limited color palettes is impressive. But this sort of bounty of colors is really quite gorgeous, I have to say.
I agree. There's just an exuberance about it. So I was really torn between using actual gooseberries and then these lovely little yellow cherry tomatoes, because obviously they're still on the vine. And I think that they capture the kind of the translucence of the gooseberry skins that Claesz paints with such delicacy, but they're not actual gooseberries.
Okay, we won't hold you to a taste test.
Thank you. Full disclosure.
You know, this really makes you appreciate Claesz's sense of building a composition. Every little detail is balanced in a perfect way.
Absolutely. The precision with which he composed his compositions is really remarkable. And you feel that. You feel that trying to recreate them in real life.
The edge here with the nuts.
Yes. The other thing I love about both the spoon and then we'll add a knife pretty soon as well is how they create these beautiful diagonals that kind of direct your gaze through the composition. But it's such a subtle yet effective visual device. So then we added this knife that's kind of hanging off of the edge of the table. And that's of course where he signs or really monograms the work. He has his initials PC right there.
I love how he does that. It's such a wonderful trick and really makes you look at the details of this painting.
Absolutely. The other thing about having the handle just slightly off the edge of the table is that it kind of brings us into the picture a little bit more.
It breaks that visual barrier.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So I couldn't find any medlars.
I can't believe it.
I know. I know. So instead, I chose two persimmons.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Which I think in shape and in color are quite evocative of the little medlars in the foreground.
It works beautifully. Now we're missing one of the prettiest elements, even though it's tucked in the back.
Yes,
the glass
exactly.
roamer.
One of the final elements is this little roamer tucked away in the background.
It's so pretty. I love how in the painting, the light comes right through the roamer, reflecting onto the table, but you can tell it's light specifically from a window.
Yes, exactly. You see that it's almost like a geometric reflection from the casement windows. And so here I just filled the glass with water, but in the painting, it would have been white wine. I think we have one or two last flourishes to add, but then I think we're almost there.
Daria, you've outdone yourself. I think this looks very good.
I think it actually is an okay approximation of the painting, and it was fun. It made me really think about all of the choices that the artist made when he was composing this image. So, Calvin, I think it's your turn now.
The tables have turned. So we've gone from this very colorful still life filled with a bounty of fruit to a more dark, moody still life. It's called a tobacco still life, and tobacco does feature heavily. This is one of the earliest depictions of this kind of still life.
If not the earliest.
Amazing. It's actually signed and dated 1622 on the little paper with the tobacco. So I thought we'd start here with the deck of cards because I thought it was so fun to think that here we are 400 years later, 404 years later, and we still play with the same playing cards. They look the same. This is exactly the type of night that I enjoy. A little less tobacco, but I like the cards. It's always fun. So I found this deck here, just in my house, and an ace of clubs goes right on top.
Ace of clubs on the top.
Here's just a small piece of torn bread. You can see the scene is really things that have been left out. It's like you're right in the middle of what's going on. The deck is a little bit askew. It really brings the viewer right in as if you're sitting at the table.
It's the end of a long night, and here are two die for you.
So here are the two die, again alluding to the sort of game night, perhaps, that was going on. You know, what I think is so interesting about a still life like this is it really alludes to those tavern genre scenes, the merry drinkers that would come about from artists like Adrian Brower and Jan Steen over the next decades into the 17th century. But this is really early, so he's sort of setting that up.
Yes, very early. And it's also interesting that there are no people. It's just kind of the detritus of a fun night with friends.
Exactly. All right, so I'm gonna place the knife right here. Again, similarly to the other painting, the knife moves beyond the edge of the table into the viewer's space, which is a really nice element to, again, make you feel like you're sitting down with everybody.
Yeah, it's almost a little invitation, both to the game and into the picture.
In this one, he signed and dated his full name on the tobacco papers. I attempted the signature myself here.
I think you did extremely well.
Oh, thank you.
And this is the only work of his where he signed his full name.
It's wonderful. So it's a very special element of the painting. Now, a tobacco painting wouldn't be complete without some tobacco, so I have some here.
Tobacco at the time would have been imported from the Americas?
I think so, and that really speaks to the reach that the Netherlands had in the 17th century. Similar to all the fruit and the wonderful porcelain and the other still lives, tobacco coming in all the way from the Americas is a pretty remarkable feat for that time.
Absolutely. You see the incredible reach of both the Dutch East India Company and the Dutch West India Company.
So we've placed the tobacco. The next logical step is the pipe. In the image, these would have been what are called spills, rolled spills that would be used to light the pipe. I just used some pieces of wood because I couldn't quite track those down. And
I think they're evocative.
I love how Claesz has crossed it over the knife, again pointing to that sort of very intentional composition, leading the eye through and around all of the objects. So I couldn't exactly find this silver piece that was used to hold the tobacco. I have two options. What do you think, Daria?
I like this one. I think it evokes the texture a little bit more.
Yes. And it feels nicer. This was, at the time, would have been a very nice piece of silver,
Absolutely.
even though it was just holding tobacco.
Well, both the object and the tobacco would have been quite expensive.
That's
so
true.
It was really sort of a luxurious object to hold this incredibly important new commodity.
So this still life of a game night or a tobacco evening would not be complete without numerous drinking vessels.
Definitely.
Both for the pleasure of those attending the night, but also I think Claesz uses these various glass shapes and different tones to reflect the light in a beautiful way and really show off how wonderfully he can evoke that.
Absolutely. I mean, the beer, the big, huge, huge glass of beer over here sort of really anchors the composition and plays off so nicely the sheen of the light on the pewter.
It's a wonderful contrast. Last but not least, there's a wonderful ceramic brazier at the back of the composition, really keeping it all warm, but also warming it up tonally. I love that sort of orange. Would it be terracotta or a ceramic of some sort?
I think it would have been a ceramic of some sort, but the embers really bring that out.
They absolutely do. Now, I'll admit, I couldn't find any hot embers. So I've sort of experimented here with some various food items that I think evoke it.
Yes, I think so. I think it adds a beautiful warm touch right over here and kind of picks up a little bit on the warmer tones of the liquids on this side. And it really completes the composition.
This speaks to Claesz's ability to take only a small set color palette here and still create a really lively atmosphere. The range is just beautiful, and I love how everything is composed.
It's nice thinking about it object by object because you realize how much thought went into every single aspect of the composition, which of course to us looks so natural, but actually, required a tremendous amount of planning and almost like architectural precision.
I have a newfound appreciation for Claesz and for still lifes in general after breaking them down in this way with you, Daria.
As do I. I think you captured it remarkably well. I think yours was harder than mine.